Hi everyone, welcome back to the easy peasy way of learning medicine. This is Sidra Hashmi. I've been away for some time because I was busy with my step 2 exam, but that's all done now, so I'm back. We'll be doing the GI enzymes today. All of them have a bit of overlap in their functions, so it can get a bit hard to memorize them and keep clarity. So I've made this diagram, and using a photographic memory and some tricks in this diagram, it will get easy to retain this easier for a longer time. So we have four main hormones: secretin, gastrin, cholecystokinin, and GIP, GLP. I've considered both of them in the same group because they kind of have the same functions. Now, where there are four enzymes or hormones, we've got only three structures which these enzymes will be acting on, which are pancreas, gallbladders, and stomach. The two hormones on the right, like gastrin, and this group, GIP, GLP, both of them will only be acting on just one structure, that is the stomach here. Whereas the hormones written on the left, the secretin and cholecystokinin, they will be acting on more than one structures. Cholecystokinin, I always consider it as being the king. Cholecystokinin, king, it just sounds like a king. And therefore, I've written it in purple as well because for some reason from the Disney movies, I have always correlated kings as wearing purple outfits and having purple things in their castles. So cholecystokinin being the king, he will act on all three structures. The remaining one, secretin, will be acting on two structures. So we've made an outline, four basic hormones. The ones on the right act just on one structure, that is the stomach, and the two on the left, they act on more than one structures. Cholecystokinin being the king will act on all three structures, and secretin, not being the king, will be acting on two of these structures. Now starting off with secretin. So we've made secretin blue because its main function is to produce bicarb. This is the duodenum. Secretin is secreted by the duodenum, and secretin acts on the pancreas to produce bicarb. This S is for stomach. So acid and fatty acids coming from the stomach enter the duodenum and they cause the duodenal cells to produce secretin. Now, secretin acts on pancreas, and the main product, bicarb, is produced by the pancreas. Secretin also acts on the stomach, as we discussed earlier, and it reduces the motility and acid production. So it only makes sense that since secretin produces bicarb, it will reduce the production of acid. Also, secretin will reduce things linked to the stomach, so it will also reduce stomach motility. Now, the opposite to secretin is gastrin. Gastrin causes the production of acid, and hence we've written that in red. Gastrin is red. Gastrin is produced by the stomach cells, the G cells of the stomach, and there are a few things that, if happen in the stomach, gastrin will be released. So the first one would be an alkaline pH. So anything alkaline will cause gastrin to be produced because the stomach will realize, okay, my pH is getting highly alkaline. I need to release some gastrin to neutralize it. So that makes sense. PPIs normally increase the pH of the stomach, and so PPI will cause the release of gastrin. Now, gastrin releasing peptide. This is a protein that is produced under vagal stimulation, and hence vagal stimulation through GRP will cause the production of gastrin. Also, stomach distension will cause the production of gastrin. Any condition in which the stomach is full, it has food in it, gastrin will be produced. And amino acids in the stomach produce gastrin because we all know that the activation of pepsinogen requires gastrin. Now, gastrin being an enzyme driving digestion in the stomach, it only makes sense that gastrin will increase stomach motility. We can see that all the other hormones, secretin, cholecystokinin, and GIP, GLP, all of them reduce stomach motility, but gastrin is the only one that increases stomach motility. So there's an enzyme that regulates gastrin, and it can get a bit complex sometimes to retain. So I've written it here. It is also high yield for step 1, but once I'm done with the explanation, hopefully you can retain it for a longer time and you'll understand it easily. So the acid produced as a result of gastrin, this acid stimulates the production of somatostatin. Now, somatostatin is that kind of grumpy enzyme that usually inhibits the release of most of the things. So the acid stimulates somatostatin, and somatostatin in turn inhibits gastrin. So basically providing a negative feedback. This can be asked in various ways on step 1, so just be mindful of this. Now coming to the lower two enzymes. Cholecystokinin being the king, it will act on all three structures as we discussed earlier. Cholecystokinin is produced again by the duodenum. So particular substances coming from the stomach entering the duodenum will cause the production of cholecystokinin. Now, what are they? Amino acids and fatty acids. For production of secretin, we had acid and fatty acid. Here we have amino acids and fatty acids. So, entrance of amino acids and fatty acids from the stomach into the duodenum causes the production of cholecystokinin in the duodenum. So, cholecystokinin first and foremost acts on the pancreas, and it will cause pancreas to release digestive enzymes. Now, one of the major functions of cholecystokinin is on the gallbladder. It causes the contraction of gallbladder, and it causes sphincter of Oddi to relax. Hence, the secretions of the gallbladder enter the duodenum and help digestion of these structures. You can note that out of all these enzymes, cholecystokinin is the only one that's acting on the gallbladder. And since cholecystokinin acts on all three structures, it will also act on the stomach, inhibits motility of the stomach. Anything that is being produced by the duodenum, it reduces the motility of the stomach because the duodenum does not want to have any more stuff from the stomach. The last group here is GIP and GLP. So these enzymes, they have a great role in insulin release as well. It's produced by the gut mucosa in response to ingested glucose, and that glucose needs to be ingested. So just to keep in mind, IV glucose will not stimulate the release of GIP and GLP. Since these hormones, they produce insulin, it's only sensible to think that the stimulus for that would be carbs. So carbs entering from the stomach, so this was an S. So carbs coming from the stomach will stimulate both of them. Also, amino acids and fatty acids coming from the stomach will stimulate the release of GIP. We discussed earlier that the enzymes present on the right hand side, they will only act on the stomach out of these three structures. So GIP and GLP will reduce stomach motility. They'll also reduce acid production, and their main function other than that is to cause the release of insulin. I hope this diagram makes it a bit easier to retain all these hormones. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like this video. Thank you.